We are here at the Digitizing Europe Summit 2014 in Berlin, and with me is Jon Schnur. He's the Executive Chairman and co-founder of America Achieves. Welcome, John.
Thank you. Great to be here, Sebastian.
John, many people worry actually that the digitalization actually increases the gap within society. So what needs to be done that everybody, all young people, can profit from the digitalization?
Well, I think the facts show that there's reason to be concerned and reason for hope. So we've had longstanding education inequality in the United States and in the world. The consequences of that inequality are going up, that education inequality are going up because of the technology-driven digital world that we're in. The skills that are needed to succeed in that world are a much higher level of skill and a different kind of skill than we've ever had before. The economic consequences of that are significant. Now in the United States, we have this compensation for those with some kind of post-secondary degree is double the compensation of those without some kind of post-secondary education. And unemployment rates are 3 times as high for people who've got a high school degree compared to those who've got some college. And basically the gap is widening. And the question is, how do we lift all of our young people up to succeed? And I think that there are some real opportunities, but it means really pressing ahead with helping our kids acquire much deeper learning, to really know things deeply so they can apply them to solve real problems, that they can be look at new situations in non-routine jobs and figure out how to pull their knowledge to solve it in a kind of changing world. And it's going to take more resources and more focus to be able to make sure that that happens. I think if we hold steady, we're going to have kids without resources and without enough background that are essentially going to fall further behind what they'll need to succeed, and we're going to have massive issues. The good news, though, is we've got places that are demonstrating success, and we can expand those.
So in terms of digital education and getting all kids up to speed, what could Europe learn from the US?
So I think the major implication of a digital era, in my view, is actually not the skill at technology, although that's important. I'll get to that in a second. The major implication is we have the routine jobs of yesterday, where you basically could show up, work hard, do the same thing over and over again, and get be able to support a family. Those jobs, at least decent wage jobs, are gone. Because of technology and the digital world, we've got non-routine jobs. And so the skills you need now are critical thinking and problem solving and how to work with others in a way and kind of have the cognitive empathy to understand how to work with others. And that's a new kind of skill that our education system often has taught more of a rote memorization. I think the technology skills have to be built on top of that. And I would say that one thing we've learned is it's important, but it's also hard, and that many efforts in the United States have brought computers into the classroom, have brought in technology, but haven't changed the nature of teaching itself. And you can spend a lot of money on hardware, give people a lot of access to that, but if you don't fundamentally have a different type of teaching, our young people won't acquire actually the digital skills that they'll need.
You already touched upon this a little bit, so that we need more than just coding skills. Yes. So we need build different social competencies, character qualities in our young people. So what are these skills that they need, and how could we support them?
Yes, and again, so the coding skills and all those are very important, but as you say, it's got to be built on a foundation of both a deeper academic skill in terms of problem solving, critical thinking, and as you rightly note, Sebastian, there's a lot of research that's coming out on the importance of character strengths as a foundation. And I'll mention 2 specifically that I think are quite significant. One is, the term is the growth mindset. And there's been research that's been done, especially at Stanford University, that's basically showing the importance of kids, and all people actually, instead of having a fixed mindset that they have a certain level of intelligence and that drives everything. Instead, we've seen the importance of kids who realize they can develop their capacities, develop their abilities through effort. And I think we've seen, certainly in the United States, but I think around the world, too often people just think, okay, they're smart or not smart. And they actually have to believe they actually can develop their capacities through the right effective effort. And having that growth mindset, actually when you believe it, and then you can act on it with the right support, you actually do a lot better. So that's number 1, I'd say, and that relates to a kind of a more traditional character strength of a persistence over time, overcoming obstacles that comes out of that growth mindset. The second one I would mention that I think is very important in these times, in a time of change, we have fewer routines and rules to live by. We have more times where young people have to work with others, understand their perspectives, figure out how to work with people. And the development of cognitive empathy, where you can really kind of take perspective and understand where somebody else is coming from and deliberately figure that out so you can understand how to work with others in changing times where rules often don't apply to the next situation is very important. And we haven't done enough work on that in our schools at scale to teach those character strengths.
So finally, what would be, if you have one wish free for bringing Europe or the US up to speed in terms of digitalization and making especially young people fit for that, what would that be?
Well, I'll tell you. I'll give you the good news, and then I'll give you my hope. The good news is each of these problems we're talking about, the deeper learning, the character strengths, the digital skills, we have examples, and growing numbers of examples in schools and educational systems where kids, including kids from very disadvantaged backgrounds, are acquiring these skills. We've been demonstrating collectively, our educators, our students, our communities, that it's possible. Success is possible. My wish for the US and Europe is that we spread those successes much faster, that we get better faster. I think right now sometimes we get a little paralyzed, people saying, well, you know what, education's failed, or no, education's doing fine. Well, actually, we're doing a little better than we've ever done before, but in this digital age, the question is how do we adapt to it? And my wish is that we get better, faster, and spread the successes we've got to a lot more kids to help them succeed in a changing world.
Jon Schnur, thank you very much.
Thank you, Sebastian. Great to be here.